What you're about to hear is going to shake the wrestling world to its absolute core. And I'm warning you right now, if you're a John Cena fan, you better grab a tissue. If you're not a John Cena fan, you better prepare to eat your words. Because the impossible just happened. Roman Reigns, the man who refused to acknowledge anyone, just did the unthinkable. Brock Lesnar, the beast who shows emotion to no one, broke down. CM Punk, the guy who walked out on WWE, who buried the company for years, just gave John Cena the most shocking tribute you'll ever hear. And Triple H, the Cerebral Assassin, the man who's been in legendary wars with Cena, what he said will leave you absolutely speechless. But here's what's really got me fired up and why you need to comment right now. There are so-called fans out there saying Cena doesn't deserve this send-off, that he's overrated, that he buried talent. And I'm about to prove them dead wrong. Hello viewers, welcome to WrestleScope. If you're new here, please don't forget to like and hit the subscribe button for daily updates on WWE Raw. This is WrestleScope and you're watching the farewell tribute that's breaking the internet right now. The announcement that shocked the world. Let's rewind to where this all started, because if you missed it, you missed history. December 2024, Monday Night Raw. The crowd is electric, and then John Cena's music hits. But this time, something feels different. You can feel it in the arena. The way he walks down that ramp, the way he's taking in every single second, the way grown men and women in the audience are already starting to tear up before he even says a word. Cena grabs the microphone. The crowd is deafening, and then he says it. 2025 will be my last year as an active in-ring competitor. The place erupts, but not in celebration, in emotion. Pure, raw, unfiltered emotion. Now, here's where it gets real, and this is where I need you to pay close attention because the mainstream media is not talking about this. John Cena isn't just retiring, he's embarking on a final farewell tour. Royal Rumble, Elimination Chamber, WrestleMania 41, Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and select international tours. 36 dates, 36 final opportunities to see the man who defined an era step into that ring one last time. But what happened after that announcement? That's when things got intense, because the tribute started pouring in. Not scripted promos, not corporate statements, real, genuine, heartfelt tributes from the men who fought Cena, who bled with Cena, who built empires alongside Cena. And let me tell you something, when Roman Reigns shows vulnerability, when Brock Lesnar gets emotional, when CM Punk praises WWE, you know something monumental is happening. Roman Reigns, the acknowledgement. Let's start with the tribal chief himself, Roman Reigns. Now, think about this for a second. Roman Reigns has spent years building his character around one core principle: acknowledge me. He doesn't acknowledge others, others acknowledge him. That's been his entire persona, his entire legacy as the tribal chief. But when news of Cena's retirement spread, Roman did something that absolutely nobody saw coming. On social media, in interviews, and then face-to-face on SmackDown, Roman Reigns acknowledged John Cena. Let that sink in. The tribal chief, the head of the table, the man who has dominated WWE for over 1,300 days as Universal Champion, he acknowledged John Cena. And here's what he said, and I'm paraphrasing from multiple interviews because this is that important. John Cena paved the road that I'm driving on. When people criticize me, when they say I'm shoved down their throats, when they say I'm overpushed, I think about Cena because he dealt with that for 15 years and he never complained. He never took a day off. He never made excuses. He showed up and he performed. That's not just respect, that's legendary. Can we just stop right there for a moment? Roman Reigns, the biggest star in WWE today, just acknowledged that John Cena dealt with the exact same criticism he's dealing with now. And you know what? He's right. Here's what the haters don't want to admit. John Cena was hated by a vocal portion of the fan base for years. Let's go Cena, Cena sucks chants became synonymous with his matches. People complained he was burying younger talent, that his matches were predictable, that WWE was the John Cena show. But you know what Cena did? He embraced it. He turned hatred into fuel. He worked harder than anyone in that locker room. He granted over 650 Make-A-Wish requests, more than any celebrity in history. He put younger stars over when it mattered. He elevated everyone he stepped in the ring with. But here's the part that got me emotional, and I want you to drop a comment right now if this hits you the same way. Roman said, "When I look at John Cena, I don't see a rival. I see a brother. I see someone who understood the weight of carrying this company, and I'm grateful I got to share the ring with him." A brother, not a competitor, not an opponent, a brother. That's powerful, that's real, and that's why this farewell isn't just about John Cena, it's about respect between generations. Brock Lesnar, the beast's rare emotion. Now, let's talk about someone who is the complete opposite of emotion, Brock Lesnar. The beast incarnate, the conqueror, the man who suplexed John Cena 16 times at SummerSlam 2014 and destroyed the Superman image Cena had built for over a decade. Brock Lesnar doesn't do emotions. He doesn't do heartfelt speeches. He doesn't do feelings. But when it comes to John Cena, even the beast has a soft spot. In a rare interview, and I mean rare because Brock barely does these, Lesnar opened up about his history with Cena, and what he said absolutely floored me. He said, and I quote, "Cena and I beat the hell out of each other for over a decade, but every single time we stepped in that ring, I knew I was in there with someone who was going to bring out the best in me, not just physically, but mentally. Cena made me better, and I respect the hell out of him for that." Now, let's break this down because this is huge. Brock Lesnar and John Cena have had some of the most brutal matches in WWE history. Extreme Rules 2012, SummerSlam 2014, Night of Champions 2014. Their rivalry was physical, it was violent, it was personal. But what Lesnar is saying here is that despite all the pain, despite all the punishment, John Cena made him a better performer. And here's the kicker. Brock Lesnar doesn't say that about anyone. Not Undertaker, not Kurt Angle, not Triple H. But he said it about John Cena. You know why? Because Cena was consistent. Every single night, whether it was a throwaway Raw main event or the main event of WrestleMania, Cena brought it. He brought the intensity, he brought the passion, he brought the performance. And Lesnar recognized that because you can't fake that kind of dedication. You can't script that kind of work ethic. But here's where it gets even more emotional. Brock Lesnar, who almost never appears on WWE programming unless it's for a match or a contract signing, showed up unannounced on an episode of Raw during Cena's farewell tour. He walked down to the ring, no music, no pyro, just Brock Lesnar and John Cena standing face to face. And then, Lesnar extended his hand. The place went absolutely nuclear. Cena shook it, and then Lesnar, the Brock Lesnar, pulled him in for a hug. If you don't think that's powerful, if you don't think that's meaningful, then I don't know what to tell you. Because that moment represented years of battles, years of respect, years of mutual understanding that they pushed each other to places no one else could. And that is why John Cena's legacy is untouchable. CM Punk, the most shocking tribute. But hold on, because we haven't even gotten to the most shocking tribute yet. CM Punk. Yeah, that's CM Punk. The guy who walked out of WWE in 2014 and spent years trashing the company. The guy who said he was happier outside of wrestling. The guy who had legendary feuds with Cena and even cut some of the most scathing promos about him. You remember the Summer of Punk, right? The entire storyline was built around CM Punk claiming he was the best in the world, while Cena was the corporate face of the company. The rivalry was iconic, but it was also real. There was legitimate tension, legitimate frustration, legitimate differences in how they viewed the business. So when CM Punk returned to WWE in 2023, people wondered, how is Punk going to react to Cena's retirement? Would he ignore it? Would he make a sarcastic comment? Would he bury Cena one last time? Nope. Instead, CM Punk did something that absolutely nobody expected. On an episode of Raw, CM Punk grabbed a microphone and said, "I spent years trying to be better than John Cena. I wanted to prove that I was the best wrestler, the best talker, the best performer. And you know what I realized? I was chasing the wrong thing. Because John Cena wasn't my enemy. He was my motivation. He was the standard I held myself to. And now looking back, I'm grateful for that. Because competing with Cena made me the performer I am today. Stop everything. Do you understand what just happened? CM Punk, the voice of the voiceless, just admitted that John Cena made him better. The man who defined the anti-establishment movement in WWE just gave Cena credit for elevating him to main event status. And here's what really gets me. CM Punk continued and said, "People ask me all the time, who's the greatest of all time? And I used to say my name. But if I'm being honest, John Cena's resume speaks for itself. 16-time world champion, countless main events, countless WrestleMania moments, and more importantly, he showed up every single day. That's not just greatness, that's legendary." Let me repeat that. CM Punk called John Cena legendary. If that doesn't give you chills, I don't know what will. Now here's why this is so important. CM Punk and John Cena represented two different philosophies in wrestling. Cena was the company guy, Punk was the rebel. Cena was the superhero, Punk was the anti-hero. But in the end, they both respected the craft, they both respected the business, and they both made each other better. That's what real competitors do. They don't tear each other down, they build each other up. And CM Punk just proved that with his tribute. So to all the people saying Cena is overrated or that he held people back, let me ask you this. If CM Punk, the guy who never holds back his opinions, is giving Cena this much respect, what does that tell you? It tells you that John Cena earned every ounce of the legacy he's leaving behind. Triple H, from rivals to respect. And now let's talk about Triple H, the game, the king of kings, the cerebral assassin, and now the chief content officer of WWE.
Triple H and John Cena have a history that goes decades. They've had legendary matches, WrestleMania 22, Night of Champions 28, and countless other battles that defined an era. But they've also had backstage tensions, creative disagreements, different visions for the business. And yet, when it came time to honor John Cena, Triple H didn't hold back. In a backstage segment that aired during John Cena's retirement announcement, Triple H looked directly into the camera and said, "John Cena is the measuring stick. When we talk about work ethic, we talk about Cena. When we talk about dedication, we talk about Cena. When we talk about what it means to be the face of this company, we talk about Cena." And personally, I'm proud to have shared the ring with him. I'm proud to have competed against him, and I'm honored to call him a friend. Now, let's pause here because this is massive. Triple H is not just a performer anymore. He's literally running WWE's creative direction. He's the guy making the decisions. He's the guy building the future. And even he admits that John Cena is the standard. But what really got me emotional was what Triple H said next. John Cena redefined what it means to be a WWE superstar. He wasn't just a wrestler. He was a brand. He was a movement. He was the